Then you do it. You say, and we're back.
That's not how I do things.
Okay. Well, we made it back up here today. We're in this back bedroom. Lisa's done some work in here and got a lot of the tacks out and all of the paneling, and she's got the floor cleaned up, and we're ready to do a little more work in here. And Lisa's here backing me up. Okay, today the plan is to open this up down here, because all along this floor in the basement, the frame has been cut off right here. Here's the last floor joist before the wall, and there's a support under this. They've got concrete supports right here and right here, but over this concrete wall there was about a 1.5 or 2 inch gap, and they never did do anything to support this wall. It just hangs from here over. So this wall is sagging, and you can tell it with this. It's quite a bit. So there's just a little gap between the concrete wall and this outside wall. Today my goal is to just cut along this, open this up and get to where we can see it from up here, and I may cut the insulation back down below and we can have a good view of it. I'm going to figure out a way to jack that up and get some support between the concrete wall and this. We may have to go get some treated lumber. We have a little bit, but we may need some more. And I don't know that we'll even get that far today. The goal is to get in there and at least understand what's going on, and maybe come up with a plan to go on through and get it fixed. That's where we're at right now, trying to get this opened up and seeing what we got. We're gonna get at it. Okay, we went ahead and pulled this out and have it opened up here. I'm gonna cut another hole here when we come back to set the jack in, and I'll have that one also. And then right under behind Lisa there on that wall, in the back wall of the closet, is the center of the house. So I'm gonna go in the basement and jack that point up. So there'll be one there, here, and here. And you can tell right here, this is what we're up against. This frame was cut off right here, just jagged and rough. And they did that so because the concrete that they poured was going to be in the way. Actually, they should have notched that, left an opening in that concrete for that frame rail to set in and hold the house, but they chose to cut it off instead. And this is what it's left us with. When I set this on there flat and try to get as flat as I can, there's slag on there, so that's really close right there to what it would be. You can tell there's probably an inch of drop in that floor joist. Okay, so it's about 7/8 of an inch that it needs to come up. I don't think that's something that is going to be impossible, so I think we'll manage it. It's just frustrating that we have to do it. If they'd just took a little more time doing it the first time. So anyway, we'll get it up there, and that's one reason we own this house. So
Yeah.
anyhow, that's how we wind up with these kind of properties. Is they've been neglected some way or another. So, anyway, we'll tinker with it.
This one's not as bad as some we've had.
No, not near as bad. We'll get it. So I'm gonna go through this for the third time because I thought I was recording both of the other times and I wasn't. But I can see the little numbers up there now. It's recording. So she thinks it's funny.
It's not funny, but
That's all right. Now I know what I'm gonna say, maybe. So I'm gonna go back downstairs because I wasn't recording down there a minute ago either, and show you what I've done. But I measured this up here, and I think I did record that maybe, and it was 1 inch and 3/16 while ago. So we're at, well, 1 inch and 1/16. I thought we had gained a little more than that, but so we've gained 1/8 of an inch right there. But I jacked it up back here about close to 1 inch underneath on that center beam where they're married together. And I noticed where that's sitting on the frame here and over here, it started heaving it up off of those blocks. So this is where we want it back here, and this just needs to come up about 1 inch. So anyhow, I stopped on that because it was starting to pop stuff like this piece of sheetrock. And it also had it off of the set of blocks that are back beyond this little closet wall too. There's another set. So it pulled up off of them. I'm just going to stop there and let it settle. And before we leave this evening, I'm going to bump it up again. And I might come through a few times this week and bump it up. And just kind of let it do its thing. This thing's been sitting here for 37 years and has taken all that time to settle. So I know it's going to take it a few days to settle back into place, and we're going to give it some time. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it, I guess. Anything else, Lisa Kay?
you did very well for your third try.
Give me that. Okay. So I'm back here now. This one is loose. This one's loose. These are loose. That one's up a good bit. I don't know if you can tell that or not. Let's go around there. So that's a pretty good gap. And this is all up right now. And that one is as well. I don't know if these are or not. That's tight. So it's all these right here. All these on this end are loose. So we will just kind of see what happens there. I don't know. I'm gonna let it go for a day or two here. And just see. It's gonna have to settle quite a bit. But I think it'll get a lot better if we just let it kind of sit there and settle down on its own for a day or two, and I'll come back through, like I said, and hit it another lick a time or two. So looks like I'm at 1 inch again now, right there. So we raised it. It's a 16th difference now, and we're just gonna have to wait it out. I know I couldn't get my fingers between that the other day right there, but they'll go now. So gonna wait it out. Day or two, check back. Okay, so this is 1 week later on this. It's been since I jacked this up, and we left it last Saturday. So this is the next Saturday. Came back. And we'll go downstairs here in just a second, but it's still off of the blocks down there. So it didn't really settle a whole lot. There's about 1/8 of an inch difference in this than when I left. last week. So it did settle some, but not a lot. I did, when I come back, I did add this farm jack in. We had cut that hole in there and got back under the plate there and that stud, and we did that last weekend. Well, I put it back in there and put pressure on it, and then I put one click on it, which raised that 1/4 of an inch out here in the middle. And it did actually raised it a little there as well, because the center of the wall where the jack downstairs is right over there. So that's about a 3-foot area to here, and then another couple foot to here. So it's coming up slowly, and I think that's all that we can expect out of it. It's taken it 30 some years to get that way, so we're just gonna probably keep tinkering with this and let it just go. It might be several weeks of this, and we're gonna go focus somewhere else and then come in and revisit this as we go. So all right, so back downstairs. Still loose. Way back here. I would have expected that to have settled back down quite a bit, but hasn't. I didn't bring a tape measure down with me, but we do know we've got, this is raised about as much as it should be right here. See, that's still, this hasn't settled any at all. The jack didn't settle down any at all. It's held. That kind of surprises me that it didn't come down any at all. By the way, I dug this jack out of the trash about 20 years ago. A guy threw it away. Bought another one. I dug it out of the trash. He said he didn't care. He wasn't going to use it. It was junk. So here it's set with the house holding up for a week now and hadn't leaked down or nothing. So we're at the 2-week mark on this wall, and I came in this morning and we checked it, and it looks like it's moved about maybe a 1/16 of an inch this past week. So I'm gonna go downstairs and see what that looks like, and maybe come up with a little different plan of attack on it. So okay, so now we come back down here, and we're still off, of course, of these. I just jacked it up a little bit, so that's a little more than it was. It had went down just a little. It was starting to touch the second blocks back. One of the problems I see with the way I've got it set up is I'm sitting under a floor joist here, the one that's the first one out into the room, because I can't get back under the others. So I've jacked it on up, and I'm going to go ahead, and we need to go up 1.5 inches. So I've got some 2x here, and I'm going to drive one back in here under this, where these two sides are hooked together here, these two center joists, and I'm going to get back under on top of that wall where it's carrying off of those two joists that's above the wall, the concrete wall, directly below the upper wall. So hopefully I relieve this pressure. That'll let this take some pressure off of this back here and let it settle a little better. And I think I'm going to come over here then and see where I'm at with this floor joist that's above this wall. See, this was sitting on the wall, and I can get my hand back in there now, but this is also up. So set this down and see where I'm at here. I may jack it up from the frame and put some spacers under this outside wall and see what happens there, because it's just not settling hardly at all. And over a week, 2 weeks of setting here, we've gained about a 1/16 of an inch, or a little over, maybe closer to an 1/8 from the original amount that we got the first time we jacked on it. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, is get to a point here where I can get the 2x driven back up in there. Wrong jack handle, Lisa. It's wrong. Something just gave up there.
I heard of
again.
Going down slowly.
Well, we gained 1.5 inches on it right here in the center. And I was really hoping that this would go down more right here, but it didn't.
No, that was up. Did it go down a little bit?
Yeah, I think they went down just a little.
Yeah.
Well, that one's still loose. So I was really hoping that getting the pressure off of this outer floor joist would help, but it didn't seem to change much. So now that's got me wondering, I was really expecting that to do more than that.
Think it will over time, or?
It will over time. I don't know. I don't know how much time though. So that's within 1/4 inch of where it needs to be right now. If this was down, this board's where it needs, really close to where it needs to be.
Okay.
This floor joist here. But problem is that went up with it, and I thought taking pressure off of this joist back here
Would help.
but and it might. I mean, we did gain quite a bit because this was sitting directly on the concrete. Now it's 1.5 inches above it.
Right.
And we've gained, and we've lost that's a full 1/4 inch. So I think we just need to go upstairs maybe and see what the difference right here is from this over to that.
Okay.
So let's go. Okay, so what we done down there, we let that down. The jack would have been sitting about this area. I took and I supported under the wall out here between it and the concrete wall, which this was setting directly on the concrete wall, and I put 1.5 inch spacer in there. So that's how much we've raised it right here. And this was all bound up, and it's freed up now. So this was at 7/8 of an inch earlier. Now it's just under 1/2 difference. So this did do something. It gained us. So now I've slid this end down here on top of the frame. This is the frame rail where the floor joists rest. They all rest right on this frame rail right here. So I slide that in there and come over here and hold that tight. It's less than 1/4 inch difference. The problem is it's raised up, so So anyway, we're going to have to come back through here and figure out where we are all across here. That's a little better there.
That looked like it.
I would be tempted to go back down there and jack the frame up enough to get an 1.5 inch spacer under this outside again in half a dozen places, and then just let it set again for a while. It's been 2 weeks. We've got plenty of other projects, so we can spare another 2 weeks.
Right.
And just see what happens. This isn't going to affect anything over there, no matter what we wind up doing.
We're in no big hurry. We want it right.
Yeah. It'll be good when we're done. It might not satisfy some people, but the way we decide to do it, but we're going to find a happy medium here at some point. But it might be a few weeks down the road. Right now I'm going to go back and maybe do some more jacking down there, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, that's the plan. Well, you didn't see it, but we went out, we cut our log off before we could get a jack on here, brought it back in, shoved it up enough to get a block in under those floor joists that are just above the wall. And this was up about 1/4 inch earlier, so it's about 3/8 now with that board in there. And that second one is up a little higher than it was, I think, because I can see a gap in here now, and I couldn't earlier. So I think I'm gonna wait now and just let it go for a little while and see what happens. That's just one block here. I don't really want to jack that one up off that block right now because it's never came off over there, and it's where it needs to be at that frame rail over there. This side, however, is going to have some work too, but kind of maybe do some trial and error over here first and then do that one. Might be the same process, I don't know. I think right now we're going to just wait this one out. May go up there and measure and see where we're at, but we're going to wait it out, I think. Yeah, that did help. That helped a lot. But we're still off here, so if that would go down that 1/4 inch, that's about what we need. Yeah.
So we need
That's a
this
1/4
to
inch.
settle back here.
Yeah, it just needs to set back down and it would be okay.
Okay. Think there's any chance it would do that?
Well, I don't know. We've given it a little more opportunity to do it now
Okay.
than it had. Okay, so back up here, and this is actually looking a lot better. It's really close, and we blocked it one more place down below, and I think we're just gonna ignore it for a while. We're gonna go somewhere else and do something else. See, I've always got this around. It's just making fun of me all the time.
No, I'm not making fun.
Well, she's laughing. So anyway, we're we're gonna stop on this. This will be a video here on just this, and I think we're gonna let it be and come back in a couple weeks and see what it does. We're gonna go lay some flooring in the bathroom.
Yay!
So, alrighty. Thanks for coming along. We'll catch you on the next one.